only this a question I ask. What can change the nature of a man?
So if you're interested in making your own RPG but you don't know where to start, I'm going to try and help you out. So hey, I'm Izzy, welcome. Now you may have already guessed this since I'm making a video about it, but I am one of those people who can't code or draw but still want to make my own RPG, completely influenced by those games I popped in the intro there.
I want to be a wizard.
You? A wizard?
And I googled something like, best engine for hobbyist developers, which led me to trying out Game Maker and Unity, but the engine I'm going to talk about here is RPG Maker. So my internet research led me to a few strong comments that basically said if you want to make games, you should probably learn how to code and build them from the ground up yourself. Because I had no idea what that involved, I thought there's no harm in trying, but I'm going to have to be honest, I did not find that process fun. I mean, it took me a whole day to draw one sprite in one frame. It took me about 4 days to get collision working, and after a month of that torture, I thought to myself, it's best I try something else.
A few moments later.
What does this mean? What does any of this mean?
So I got back onto the internet research, and because this time I knew what I was looking for, the pros for using RPG Maker really stood out for me. So in the hope my experience helps somebody else out, I'm going to go over the 5 main reasons for using RPG Maker if you can't code or draw but still want to make your own RPG.
You won't be able to weave very much with it at first, but as you practice, its true power will be revealed to you.
Reason number 1, the community.
Nice. Cool. Old school. Cool.
Which one is me?
The RPG Maker community is incredibly supportive and very used to seeing a regular stream of new joiners. No matter how long or short you've been using the engine, everyone is treading the same steps, and so there's a great deal of empathy in this community. I think it's quite telling that those who have moved on to other projects and other engines, either because they're more experienced and skilled now or because they simply want to make a different type of game, still keep an eye on RPG Maker. And this was evident when MZ was announced, the new RPG Maker engine, and we saw some old names start popping up again. That does say a lot.
I see you.
There you are.
Here I am.
Now many won't be aware of this, but there are a huge number of community-made assets and plugins that can really help developers better customize their games. I think it's pretty amazing that people have spent their often limited free time effectively helping the rest of us make our game-making dreams come true. It gives you that sense that complete strangers really want you to love making your game, and their hard work gets you so much closer to achieving your dream of making the game you actually want by using this expanding number of resources. Even people who released assets and plugins 2, 3, 4 years ago, I'm still making use of their work. Naturally, having that encouragement and support really makes a big difference, especially when you need more brains to help solve a development problem. Reason number 2. If you're looking to make a standard top-down game, you'll find the map editor and stock assets that come with the engine to be incredibly useful when starting out, as they quickly allow you to create a visual base for your game. You may have read some comments from people telling you not to use the RTP, and their reasons for the most part do make sense, but to anyone new to the engine, I would really recommend just using the template assets anyway, because it simply allows you to get going quicker on the game, and you can always replace the assets later on if you decide to. It's more important to practice map creation and design at this stage, which isn't as easy as it sounds, as I'm probably demonstrating right now, especially when you consider making players run through big open empty spaces might work for other types of games, but maybe not so much our top-down RPGs. One thing I need to add here is that there are a ton of art assets available on the forums where artists in the community have made assets for free for use in RPG Maker games.
I've always depended on the kindness of strangers.
This includes expansions and edits of the RTP, and they are amazing. So if the perfectionist in you won't let you go any further without replacing a particular asset, go and have a look on the forums. Reason number 3. Standard functions you need for a working RPG are already built into this engine. You can access them just by clicking a button, and there's absolutely no coding required. Now this is a huge time saver. I was so happy to see this. In the beginning, I'd recommend playing around with the engine and working out what functions are already built in. Once you've got a handle on that, you can then consider additional functions you would like to be added to your game through the use of plugins. These are created by the programmers of the community, changing or adding to the existing base source code to really open up the capabilities of the engine. The sheer number of plugins available mean you can make the game you want and do so efficiently. You can achieve simple things like changing the resolution of the game, or more complex functions like changing from the top-down view to a 3D view. For those on a tight budget using MV, you can find many of these plugins for free. So once you're more familiar with the engine, definitely go and have a look at the plugins.
You have a great gift for Ryan.
Yes. Some of the time.
Enough of that! Fuzzy, are there rocks ahead?
If they are, we all be dead.
No more rhymes now, I mean it!
Anybody want to fill it?
Reason number 4. RPG Maker comes with comprehensive documentation which is available through the engine itself or via the website. Not only that, if you're using the latest 2 engines, MV or MZ, they also come with an inbuilt tutorial that guides you around the engine and shows you all the basics you need to know to get cracking with your game. If you're still stuck, it won't take you very long on the internet to find a detailed answer linking to the RPG Maker forums or even 1 or 2 YouTube tutorials.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
And reason number 5. The cost.
All you have to do is pay the subscription fee, and you're a wizard.
Subscription fee?
Yes, a mere 30 gold pieces for junior members.
Now I know this might surprise you, as MV and MZ are currently retailing for $80, which is a lot of money, but it does include a commercial license already built into that price.
Peter, remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
This means you don't hit quite the same paywall for selling your game commercially that you may find with other engines. An RPG Maker comes with built-in art assets, sound effects, animation, music, a character generator, so you're getting more than just the engine itself. Still, many will struggle to spend $80 on a game engine they haven't tried before, so before you spend any money, I'd suggest making use of the 20-day free trial. This gives you full access to the engine for 20 days, so you can actually play around with it, test out all of its features to see if this is something you actually want to work with before spending a single penny.
For free! This is sick!
So if after giving the free trial a go you decide you want to go ahead and invest in this engine, now's a good time for me to tell you I've seen the engine go on sale at multiple times of the year, usually around or during big holidays. Recently on the release of MZ, the MV engine came down to $16, which is ridiculously cheap. I actually regret not buying 1 or 2 to share. I bought myself MV for $20 last year, and I suspect we will see a Black Friday sale or possibly a bigger sale during Christmas.
Yes, it's got all kinds of goodies in it. You get a complimentary staff, a WizKid Club member badge, a WizKid quill, WizKid scroll notepaper.
So finishing up my list of 5 reasons, when first making your game, you will have a lot of questions. But don't panic, because a lot of the questions you have at the start would have already been answered by somebody on the forums. Otherwise, you can also find a lot of helpful YouTube tutorials. And if all else fails and you really cannot find the answer, I would check out some of the RPG Maker Discords. If someone sees your question and they're able to help, they will certainly try.
Goonies never say die!
I'd heard that taking up a game-making hobby was a rather lonely journey, so discovering this engaging and inclusive community was a lovely surprise. Whenever I get the chance, I check out recent questions raised and the replies given, even if I'm not going through a game-making phase, and I always learn something new that I can't wait to put into practice. So for anyone like me who might be a tiny bit nervous starting a game-making hobby, this really is the best environment to learn something new in. So after going through my 5 reasons, I hope I've given you some kind of inkling of the benefits of using RPG Maker if you can't code or draw but still want to make your own RPG. And to be honest, for people who can code but can't draw, or can draw but can't code, and you simply just want to tell your own stories in an RPG format, I don't think it would be wrong of me to recommend RPG Maker to you as well. If this is genuinely something that will interest you, I think you'll find the creative process involved really fun. One of my greatest triumphs when I first started was just how to open a door, and I was so happy when I worked it out. You might think that that was just me being easily pleased, but honestly, you can really get a lot out of this. And if you're interested, but you just don't have the free time right now, I'm so sorry, I wish I could give you that free time, but RPG Maker is not going anywhere, and I hope one day you can join us.